Good evening, everybody. My name is Third, and today I will be assigning you a Demon Slayer breathing style. In the video description and/or comment section, you'll find a link to my own handmade quiz. Feel free to take the quiz and come back for a deep dive on the breathing style I bestow upon you based off of your answers. It's almost like I'm a psychic. Starting now. Hope you already took the quiz because I will be explaining the possible 7 options. Feel free to just listen to the options and then take the quiz and come back. Well, you know, whichever you prefer. I can't force you. I'm not there. I'm not watching. Sun breathing, Destiny's Child, pure of heart, the chosen one. Personality-wise, you might be teeter-tottering between sun and water, despite the two not being the closest two breathing styles. Keep in mind, we are choosing your style based off of personality and not combat prowess. Tanjiro, our main protagonist, bridges the gap between water, flame, and sun. We don't get to learn much about the original sun breather, but he was the only hope against ultimate evil. A yin of yang, so to speak. So you might display traits of the kind Tanjiro with more determination and focus in order to get the sun breathing style. But since sun breathing is kind of a chosen one, I purposely made it difficult to get it. You had to choose all of the right answers with no faulty. And if you somehow messed up on being a perfect human being, you probably got water breathing style. Speaking of water, let's move on. Tanjiro, his master, and Gyu, the Water Hoshura, have a few traits in common, with the major one being kindness. We see Tanjiro's personality on display, painfully high levels of kindness. That sounded awkward. Let me try that again. Let's move on. Blah, 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 blah. What do they all have in common? They are all extremely kind. Tanjiro being painfully the most kind of them all. His master, Urokodaki, has to wear a scary mask since his face was too kind looking when fighting demons. Not to mention he trained someone who he didn't think could become a demon slayer. And then Gyu, who sent Tanjiro off to go, become a demon slayer. All these really kind things. Let's also not forget that Gyu is actually a really kind person, but he's so awkward that he makes people think he hates everyone. But in reality, he's just an awkward, antisocial dummy. It's really hot. This one trait alone is not a person to make, however. We see a focus on compassion for family and others. Tanjiro for his sister, Urokodaki for those he trained, treating them as akin to family. With all this in mind, let me take a crack at who you are if you got the water breathing style. You were raised right. You have no problem discerning right and wrong. You have a kind heart that bleeds for anyone. You're easily satisfied by your family or even your friends. Do you find yourself as the mom of the group? Do you do things for others without gripe, or even letting them know out of kindness? Annoyed seeing people act foolish when you work so hard to be good? They gave me chills. Alright, let me know if I got you right. Now, set your heart ablaze, because we are moving on to flame breathing. Rengoku, rip the homie, God bless his soul, in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, was the only real, fully fleshed out fire breathing user we had to use. So, if you got fire breathing, you're most like Rengoku. But what does that mean to be Rengoku? You're compassionate. A lot like water breathers, but not nearly as empathetic as them. Your compassion is for your family, sure, and your craft. With Rengoku, he truly devoted himself into his training to the point of near perfection. He's also the type to never waver in what he believes in. His code is unbreakable. He loved his family much like the others. His way of dealing with others is rather frank and honest. If he thought you wouldn't survive a demon encounter, he'd let you know. No, this wasn't from a spiteful place or a place of malice. Also, due to his warrior code, he appreciated all there was when he could, for he never knew when he would die. This is why he always said tasty after eating every single bite. So if you got Rengoku, you're compassionate to the point of eccentricity. You love and hold your family dearly while encouraging those around you wholeheartedly. You know not everyone can do what you can, so you tell others to simply do what they can. To match this, you have an undoubtable will. You might have problems following orders, but if it's the right person, you'll be as loyal as a soldier. Last and certainly not least, you're the person people seek out, like a flame into the night. How'd I do? Alright, now I'm emotional. I'm going to move on to my favorite one. Thunder, lightning, the most precise of the breathing styles, and one of my favorites. We only have 3 users, but we get a good feel for them. For starters, 2 of the 3 users show intense empathy and kindness for family and those in need. Not unlike other breathing styles, I know all of them are kind, compassionate people. A underlying theme for Thunder users is specialization. Like Bruce Lee's quote, I fear not the man who practiced 10,000 kicks once. I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. Perhaps you have a perhaps you have a natural gift for one of your hobbies, or have an obsessive, addictive personality. Greedy? Or are you weak to certain vices? A living embodiment of work hard and play hard. More importantly, you don't leave people behind, since it's the right thing to do or since you know what it's like to be alone. I would use more psychic powers to call you a wannabe playboy like Zenitsu, but I'm sure that's a one-off for his character in particular. Right, now that we have a bunch of the main breathing styles down, it's time to move on to Stone and Wind. The only problem is we don't get that much screen time of them, so we're going to have to rapid fire this and keep it brief and short. Next up is going to be the Stone Hoshura. Really excited. His personality seems to be pretty straightforward, but we do get to learn a lot of little nuances about him. For example, obviously he's an introvert. He seems to be a gentle giant of sorts with his intimidating stature scaring other people, but in reality he's just a big teddy bear. I'm sure we have a lot of those people existing in the world. He's soft-spoken, very kind, and very reserved, keeping to himself most often than not, despite, crying out for every little thing to the point of hilarity. He's seen during the Hoshura meeting to have somewhat of a leadership role, not truly cemented, not like, Vice President of the Demon Slayer Corps. He seemed to be thrusted into a position of leadership, just slightly above the Hoshuras, not genuinely so. But they seem to be okay with this. Proof that he's earned their respect one way or another. Stone-breathing users must be hard as nails despite their reserved nature. This reserved nature most likely sticks with the Hoshura himself, and the tough as nails part probably comes with the breathing style. But they blend quite well into this one super caring, gentle giant. Alright, that's it. Nope, we can't spend any more time. We're moving on to the Wind Hyster. Senemi. I like Senemi. Senemi is obviously an extrovert with his loud, bashful nature. We have to separate a few things. Obviously, some of his obsessive nature, his hate for demons, his scarring, all that comes from being a Demon Corps member and his traumatic past, which we cannot get into due to spoilers and stuff, and I don't have footage. But he's obviously hot-blooded. He's obviously an extrovert. Wears his heart on his sleeve. Very loving towards his brother, even though we definitely cannot tell. He has all these positive natures, but he's just so bashful, loud, extravagant. Definitely not as flashy as the Stone Hoshura, but he doesn't seem to care for that. He seems to be very objective and very focused on his one thing. So, if you're loud, bashful, hot-blooded, strong-willed, loving and caring, all these things culminate into the Wind Hyster. He's definitely flowy like a water-breathing user, but that wind pushes just as strong as a stone-breathing Hyster. Now, when you take the quiz, there is a moon option. I purposely put terrible options amongst all the other questions. And, I'd kick a puppy. And that's pretty much how you get the moon. That's how you get the moon breathing technique or breathing style. So, the opposite of the whole yin and yang spectrum. The opposite of good, definitely go against evil, kick a puppy on the streets. Very simple, very cut and dry. I would love to say that there's more depth to him, but honestly, it's pretty simple. And that's how you get him. Now, I hope you enjoyed the quiz. That's everything I got. I mean, there's nothing else to do. No. I hope you enjoyed the quiz. I hope you enjoyed the personality breakdown. I'm well aware the video was a little casual and a little flowy on certain parts, but I'm definitely going to get better after this first video, and I had a wonderful time, and I hope you guys did too. Comment in the section if I got you right, any notes you have, any future videos you want personality breakdowns on, literally anything. That's my favorite part. The comments is just better than any other thing. I don't want to say the S word. We're going to see how far I can get without saying that word that I ask you to please, and then. All right. I had a great time. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Don't forget to come back, set your heart ablaze, and I'll see y'all soon.